Hey Chelsea fans, welcome to CFC Unfiltered. I'm your host Anirudh and this is a channel for Chelsea fans and by Chelsea fan. I know it's been a while since my last video. We previewed the match last time out and it's been few days. I will give you that, but this is my match review. I wanted to take a moment review the match. So I saw the entire match in its entirely, firstly live, and then of course replayed it. Saw the entire match again. I also had exchange of thoughts from some Chelsea fans on what they thought, and I wanted to do this review like a different holistic type. Right. So let's get started. Without further ado, let's get started. Now there's a new channel, Chelsea fans, only few days old. So if you do like the content, please do share, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. Every bit of support helps, since it's a brand new channel. And yeah, let's be part of this journey together. I'm sure if you do give it a shot, you will love the content. And yeah, let's just start with a match review. I will yeah, let's just start with a match review. So if we're going to start with the match, so we when we match started, just before the start, Cole Palmer had a niggle. He was precautionary taken off. I think some of us were really worried about what happened. So the news has come out from Matlaw that Cole Palmer's injury is not serious. He could be in contention for Fulham, although he is likely that Chelsea will most likely not take any chances and he'll be given rest, and he'll most likely have an off international break and then come back fit and firing for after international week. I think it's against Brentford that game. So yeah. So he'll most likely miss out against Fulham, but it's not so sad because we saw someone step up instead of Cole, because Esteban only got about 10 minutes. Chelsea were a bit shocked because of Cole Palmer, and then of course Paqueta, because West Ham started good, in first 5, 6, 7 minutes or so, they kind of started well, and Paqueta did a wonder goal. Now I want to talk about that goal because a lot of people are saying that, oh, it's a Sanchez, this and that. I think it's a wonder goal. I don't think you as a keeper will think that someone will actually take that shot, right? First of all, because it will have to be insane to actually trouble the goalkeeper. And secondly, if you have looked at the replay of that goal, the ball at the at the towards the end, right when Sanchez thinks he can get it, it drifts away, it spins away, so he can't get his arms towards the goal. That said, Sanchez could have done better, right? While I am giving him a pass at that, because I know a lot of people with Sanchez, they think of that because they think of all the mistakes he has made, and he has made those mistakes, and they let that impression of him guide that this must be a mistake, right? Whereas with here and now, there is not that much he could have done. Little bit he could have done is positionally he could have improved that. Secondly, he tried to save it, like with it was going towards his I would say left, and he tried to kind of save it like with the right hand, instead of trying to go like this, like with the left. So maybe he could have done better with that, but otherwise I wouldn't blame too much on the goalkeeper. I think it was a wonder strike. We move on, and at that point of time, because there were a lot of Chelsea fans and Chelsea accounts who came earlier with the facts and figures that Chelsea have been this bad against West Ham, and Michael Oliver is the referee, and this is how Chelsea have done, with Oliver as a referee. So we know who these accounts are, and they came up with this account, and I was like, when I saw this, I was like, is Michael Oliver responsible for those losses? No, he's not. He might be responsible for one or two decisions that went against us and cost us the game. Yes, we can take me one game or two game out of that. Yes, but during that, I think Michael Oliver's those games that were referred to, where all of them was because of us, our own issues that we were having. It was issues with Enzo Maresca. It was issues with squad. It was issues that we had. I think Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson were both injured during that time. Tend to say is an easy cop out just to blame the referee, right? I'm not giving a free pass to all the shit refereeing that goes on in the Premier League, but let's not do an easy cop out. Past results have been this, but you have to look at the context as well. Chelsea have been going through seismic shift for past 3 seasons, almost past 2-3 seasons. We were almost at the brink, right? Few years ago, before this ownership came, and then there were rapid changes which impacted on the field, and we at that season when the ownership came, it was 12th finish. Then we saw the entire team change, and then we finished 6th, right? And there was a transformational change, right? And then we have seen improvement last season where we finished 4th. We even a season before we got to some finals and semi-finals, and we finished 6th. And last season we saw that this version, this philosophy that the management had, there was a long-term vision, and it is working because their emphasis is not on experience, it is on playing experience. So you could be young, but if you have playing experience, that is what counts if you play together. So we have started to see that, and we saw that, that mentality. And even when West Ham scored, and I could see some Chelsea fans concerned, I was not that concerned, because I was like, if you really want to go for, let's say, Champions League positions, if you want to be playing top teams in Champions League, if you want to go for the big honors in Premier League and Premier League titles and Champions League titles, you can't be too bothered about conceding a goal against West Ham. It happens. You have to handle the situation. You have to go through these situations and win against such a position, because you'll have to do it, right? So ultimately, I didn't get too worried. I wasn't too bothered. I was confident that Chelsea can come through, because West part of it is because Chelsea need to show that mental steadiness, and we have seen, especially in the last towards the end of last season, and we saw that even in the final Conference League, I would say, we saw that we have seen that mentality grow, stronger, winning mentality. And then we saw that in the Club World Cup of how we went through, despite the loss in Flamengo, how we went through the entire tournament, and then how we dismantled PSG. And I think that gives both, that happened due to strong mentality, but there was a skill set, and of course going through these achievements, these wins that Chelsea had, getting into the top 4, winning the Conference League, and then going to Club World Cup. And I think when you're seeing the players, they are already talking about Premier League titles and this, and Enzo Maresca, unlike last time, is not dismissing it outright. I'm not saying we will win the Premier League title based on well, a game against West Ham, but there is a level of mentality you can see. Now, what I will say about this Chelsea game is that we saw Estevao shine. We saw João Pedro showing his composure. We saw that we are working on set pieces. First goal scored by João Pedro, second by, I think it was by Pedro Neto, whose work ethic is absolutely tremendous. And then João Pedro, of course, showing the composure during that assist, and then Estevao, of course, stepping up, and going, being very direct, and Enzo Fernandez opening his account because of that run by Estevao. Now, and of course, Chalobah and Caicedo getting goals, and I think that was, for Chalobah, it was, given what he's gone through, having been frozen out, then coming back, and then making his position his own, I'm really happy for him, how, given what happened to him and how he has gone through, and he has not been, he has not let those events affect him, and he has shown mental fortitude that very few people do that. And it just shows how good of a character he is. And also, for Caicedo to score that goal against West Ham, because if you remember, Caicedo made his debut against West Ham 2 seasons ago. He gave away a penalty, and West Ham fans, how we have worked Rouse, and Caicedo is this and that, and look how tables have changed. Caicedo has gone a long way, and it was kind of ironic how Chelsea have then done to West Ham, and so there was a level of irony in that, and also poetic, right, of Caicedo and Chalobah scoring those goals. So one important other person I like to highlight is Delap. I think he has gone underappreciated. I didn't see that much during the live match, but when I replayed the match, I saw how Delap was almost working like Giroud. How we remember how Giroud used to play, how he used to bring others to play, how he used to work with Eden Hazard in particular, going back and forth, and I could see that sort of relationship between him and Estevao, basically, of how he was, taking the, players out of possession of West Ham, and how it enabled us to basically break that low block. And I think Enzo Maresca, after looking at Crystal Palace, what Crystal Palace did, I think that is what he came up with. That is why he played Delap and João Pedro together, right? So it was impressive. I would say Chelsea never really moved out of we played mostly in the second gear. I think we very rarely. I think we only moved to third gear in few instances. Mostly it was second gear. I think it was because Chelsea took the we took off we took off our foot off the gas after 55-60 minutes, because game was done 5-1. You also have to take into account that Chelsea have had little to no preseason, you can say. It had been a long season. Last season, only 3 weeks break, 2.5 or 3 weeks break, and then coming back, and again for long season ahead. So I think Chelsea were, being smart and not overdoing it, because you're not going to get anything out of being prime Barcelona right now against West Ham, because West Ham are a pretty bad side. They have little to no midfielders. They don't have the players that Graham Potter would want to prefer while he's playing his side, and they just didn't have anything. And Chelsea weren't it served no purpose, because I talked to some Chelsea fans. They're like, we didn't press and we didn't do that and we didn't. And there was no requirement because we had possession for quite a bit while, and there were a few instances where West Ham did look threatening, but most of them were offside. That said, we need to improve. Like with the second West Ham goal, that was ruled for offside. I think Cucurella should have done better. I know a lot of people were playing, oh, we should bring center. That was not because of centre back. That was because Cucurella, one of the best, left backs in the league, didn't do his due diligence and was not tracking the runner. That was what it was about, a lapse from concentration from his side. Nothing to do with centre backs, despite what some accounts of Chelsea say, right? So that was because of that. I think it was still a pretty average performance from us, but we didn't need to be, extra special. And I think from what I can see, there's a certain level of mentality and ruthlessness, which is what you would want to see. And I think it just opens doors of possibility, given what other teams are doing, how strong they are and how strong they are not, right? Because I think there is definitely, we can, it's too early in the time, and I'm not going to talk about title contenders right now, because for me, title contenders is when you are, let's say, in game week 30 or 31, and you're either leading everyone or you are within, I don't know, 5 to 6 points of whoever is leading. If that is the case, then you're in the title race, and if you're not, you're not, right? That is why, like last season, Liverpool won the league. They were the only title contenders, and they were the title winners. For me, Arsenal were not title contenders, despite what they might think. They might have finished second, but there's a huge difference between finishing second and being title contenders. Arsenal, for 2 seasons before that, might have been title contenders, but last season they weren't, right? Because if they were title contenders, so were we. So, in game week 2, because a lot of people, when, we drew with Crystal Palace, used that as a, method to say that, oh, that is why Chelsea are not going to win the title. You don't win or lose title in game week 1. You don't win or lose titles in game week 2. But I saw a lot of positives. It was a pretty average performance. I think we have gears to go, but I wouldn't be too worried. And one thing I would say is that, especially with Chelsea, I think Chelsea are not going to click into gear, I think, until later part of the season. I think Chelsea are mostly going to grind and do what is required to be done at certain points, so we can see them go through gears. But what we are going to see is Chelsea having very different performances as required, depending on the position. So against West Ham, we don't have to go to 4th or 5th gear. We will stick to 1st, 2nd gear, at times going to 3rd gear. So it will depend on our position, and I think we saw that in Club World Cup too. We saw different performances, like say against Palmeiras, against Fluminense, or against Benfica, and then we saw different performances against PSG. So Chelsea, I think, under Maresca, is a kind of side that will, not have, the same performances, or the same method of going against teams like PSG does, or like Man City does, or like Liverpool under Klopp did. Chelsea under Maresca are, depending on a position, they will do what needs to be done and get the 3 points, and then, preserve the energy, because ultimately, guys, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long season. It's Premier League, Champions League, and, Carabao Cup, and, FA Cup also to come. So Chelsea have to, be smart about it. So I am not concerned, because there was no pressing. I think we didn't need to. so we conserve the energy, and it's okay. We didn't need to be do anything special. We still won 5-1. I think some pundits who are can't handle our success are saying we shouldn't get too happy about it. We are Chelsea Football Club. We're not going to get too carried away with this one. We are already world champions. We destroyed the best side in the world in PSG. So I don't think we are going to be over the moon, and we didn't still over celebrate it, right? We didn't go and do a bus parade over that. We just had a little beginning of the season and pre-season friendly that, yeah, look, we won this. Good. We're all happy. That is it. We move on and we go on and start preparing for next upcoming competitions and try and win those. So I don't think any Chelsea fan at any level is over celebrating at any point of time. I think we are just happy that our team won, and we won by margin despite not nowhere near our best, right? So that shows that we are in the right track. And yeah, on to the next game. So there are a lot of transfer activities going on, guys. I want to be making videos on those. I'll be giving you videos on that pretty soon. What's going on with Jackson, what's going on with Nkunku, Simmons, Garnacho, a lot of Fermin Lopez, that's a new one. So a lot of moving parts, so I'll be making videos on those. So do check out the channel. Please do subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. Please do show support. It's a young channel, only a few days old. It needs all the love and support it can get, and I'm sure if you do give it a shot, you will love it. So until next video, guys, I will see you after that. So bye.